It was a good weekend of Premier League football. We had Everton getting their first win on the board. Wolves are bottom of the table and look like they're struggling. We've got new leaders in Liverpool. However, have their fixtures been rather favourable at the start of this season? I'd say probably yes. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on when there's a real challenge in front of them. And then Man City were held to a draw against Newcastle. So, good weekend, but not for me. No correct scores, unfortunately. Let's see if we can get some here. Make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So we start off Crystal Palace against Liverpool. Should be a good fixture, but Palace were so good under Glasner when he came in last season. It's been a slow start this season. They lost to Everton last weekend, and you can really see the effect that it's having losing Elise and Anderson in that team. They just don't look anywhere near as creative as they previously were, and that is down to both of them really. Anderson was brilliant at creating from the back, and Elise, what a talent he is. So Liverpool, although we did mention their fixtures have been favourable, I think this is another. I think Liverpool should be winning this, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win to Liverpool. Arsenal against Southampton next. Now, Southampton were very poor against Bournemouth, and they've been quite poor all season. Arsenal, it's been a good start. Can they go and get another win? I think they can quite comfortably, so I'm going to go Arsenal to win 3-0. West Ham against Ipswich. This is a tough one because West Ham have been poor at the start of this season. So much more was expected. They had a great transfer window, but West Ham do not look like a very good side. They kind of look like they've gone backwards. And Thomas Soucek seems to be getting most of their goals from the bench, so that shows the problems they're having. Ipswich, it's been a good start to the season. Yes, they lost their opening two fixtures against City and Liverpool, but that's expected. 4 draws since then, so they are unbeaten. It's a shame they haven't been able to make any of those wins. They got a draw against Villa last time out and were very good in that game. Away from home, maybe they're not going to be as good. I think if Ipswich were home in this fixture, I'd probably back them for the 3 points. But I am going to go for a 1-1 draw. Brentford against Wolves. Now, one thing seems certain here. Brentford will probably score in the first minute, as they've done in their last 3 matches. It's pretty incredible, and the last 2 have been very similar Bryan and Mbeumo volleys from the centre of the box. So Brentford start games very well. Wolves don't seem to play well at all in their games. I mean, they haven't been awful. They weren't awful against Villa at all, but they're just they're very bad at the back. Wolves are poor defensively, so I am going to back Brentford to win. And I do fear now for Gary O'Neill. I think maybe, he had a great season at Bournemouth, a great season at Wolves last year, but then it stagnated towards the end and it hasn't picked up this season. So maybe it's worrying times for him. I am going to go for Brentford to win 2-1. Now we move on to Man City against Fulham. And I'm just going to throw it out there. It's a bit rogue. But City, when Haaland doesn't score, they don't really seem to score many and they seem to struggle to win games. Fulham have started well. And maybe I'm going to be stupid and Man City are going to go and win this quite comfortably. But while they're missing Rodri, who is pivotal to this team, and De Bruyne is also out, who everyone knows is such a great creative player. But with those 2 missing, especially Rodri, I think Man City will drop a few points. And I'm going to go for it here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. On to Leicester v Bournemouth, and this is another tight game. Bournemouth are a very good side to watch, and I just don't think they take as many chances as they probably should. They probably deserve to have more points than they do this season. Leicester, they've started pretty well back to Premier League life. I think if Bournemouth were at home, I'd go for them to win, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw here. Everton, Newcastle. this is tough because Everton, they like to score. They're okay going forward, but they recently have conceded a lot of goals when taking the lead. Last weekend they didn't, and they won against Palace. This weekend, I mean, Newcastle, away from home especially, are not great. They did get that point against Man City, though, at the weekend, but they don't look as full of goals as you'd normally see them. You know, that first season under Eddie Howe, they were brilliant. They got into the Champions League. Last season, they were hit by a lot of injuries. This season, there's a few missing, but still, they haven't been as good as I expected. This could go any way. I can honestly see any possibility for a result in this game, but I think I'm just going to have to back Newcastle, even though they're not great away. And let's go for some goals. A scoreline Everton won't like because they've lost by it a couple of times this season after taking a 2-0 lead. 3-2 to Newcastle. Moving on to Sunday's fixtures now. So Chelsea v Forest is our opener. That's an interesting game. It should be a good one, but I just can't see Chelsea not winning. I mean, Forest have started very well, but Chelsea, they are really starting to click. They were in the top 4 last time I checked, so I should have checked the table before this video, but I'm pretty sure they are still in the top 4. It's been a good start. If not, they might be 5th instead of 4th, but yeah, Chelsea are clicking. They're really leaving off where they were last season, and I mean, Cole Palmer, they beat Brighton 4-2, he got all 4. He is going to carry this team even further this season, I think. Obviously, they struggled last year, but I think he's got a very good chance of carrying them into the Champions League places. And I think they'll win this. I think they're still susceptible to a goal at the back, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Villa v Man U, I mean, I just don't. For some reason, I don't see a world where Man United win this game. I don't see me backing them to win many games this season because they are shocking, Man United. Very poor side. Spurs played them off the park last week, and it was a case of Spurs being very good and Man United being very bad. Villa, they got the draw against Ipswich, but when they're at home, they do look very good. So I'm going to go for Villa to get the win, 2-1. And Brighton Spurs is our final game. This looks like it could be fun because both sides are very free-flowing. They like going forward, and there's probably going to be some goals. Hoping it's not 0-0 now that I've said that. Which way do I see it going? Either, but probably down the middle. I think it'll be tight, but open. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 to round off the fixtures. Make sure to let me know your thoughts down below. Hit the like button and subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.